I would like to call the Flint Board of Education special board meeting to order at 4:04 p.m. Board members, as I call your name, please reply by present. Vice President McIntosh, absent. Trustee Gibbard,
Present.
Trustee Green, absent. Assistant Secretary Treasurer Del Maronin,
Present.
Secretary Booth,
Present.
Treasurer McIntyre, absent. Myself, President McNeil, present. We have four present, three absent. The board will now hear comments from the public. We'd ask that you state the reason for addressing the board, and then you limit your remarks to 3 minutes on matters within the authority of the board and not address the individual by name. The presiding office of the board should have the right to limit the number of persons who may address the board on the same subject. Please state your name and address first before beginning to speak. Is there anyone here from the public who wishes to address the board? Seeing none, I will now call upon Mr. Jones.
Good evening, board members. I have a few items. I seek a motion and a second to approve Resolution 1.4 Personnel Recommendations.
Support.
It has been properly moved and second. Is there any discussion? Chris
At our
Delaroni.
last meeting, we approved the retirement of one principal and the hiring of another. And this is someone different now.
No, so
No.
we took the hiring of this principal off the table at the last meeting due to a change we needed to make in the salary to ensure it lined up with the union contract. So we did not bring it forward, we took it off the table.
Okay, so we're at the same number of principals as we were.
Correct.
a month ago.
Correct.
Okay, very good, thank you.
What was that change in salary, Mr. Jones?
So in the union contract is by scale. I don't have a specific number where she started at, but she's starting at step 2 on the scale. Before she was going to be coming in at a higher step, which the union contract states at this time that she must come in and stage at step 2. I can give the board that information at a later time. Okay. So we're following the union contract.
Because that was in our package, that price. But we're gonna have to, because that's what they want to know. How we can get that done?
I can send it to him. Send it to him, just want me.
I was just gonna say, because it's a public document.
So this administrator will come in at step 2, 211 days. And if you look back at your previous packet, board members, you will see the wages of that step 2. That's in your previous packet from the last board meeting.
I don't think anybody has any package from the last board meeting.
Madam President. Right.
It's in your last week's packet.
It was,
It should be in this package.
it was in the packet. let's see.
Page 3.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Thank you, Superintendent.
You're welcome.
Mr. Jones,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Rachel, we got calls today, starting as of Friday, that she was fired from Grand Lake and had a lawsuit against Grand Lake. Were you aware of that?
We're not aware. Are you aware of it? So the person that we have on the table that is to be hired, the board president just mentioned that this person is let go overtime.
We don't know when, but it was stated that she was let go, fired for some reason, and then after they fired her, she did do a lawsuit against the Grand Lake Community School District.
So we completed our background check. We completed our BA 189.
So did it show that she was discharged and had a lawsuit? Is what was sent to me.
So is there a question with this board president?
It was kind of a question. The question was from the community while we're hiring somebody that was fired for negligence or whatever that reason is, and that wasn't disclosed in the package.
Okay, so we perform we follow the legal law as it pertains to backgrounds. We've done that. If a person has a legal lawsuit or something going on, then that is something that I really want to be careful about even talking about it right here, because that's someone's personal information. But if we've done our background checks and we found things to be clear, that we've done our due diligence as a district. Now, word on the street is something different. We don't operate based on that, but yes.
Just so that, I just want to make sure that we are above board. This is a public meeting. And so if there is possibly some sort of litigation in place, that wouldn't be something that would come up in our background and references check. And they would be discouraged, and it would be against any legal policy that they have to disclose that information. We could also not withhold her from employment if that is the case. It would open us up to risk in litigation as well.
Well, we know the records board was 2015 when that case was out there, it was public information.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Gilbert.
Thank you, Madam President, Superintendent. Ms. Galloway, so,
We cannot hear you.
the background check has been cleared.
Yes, sir.
That's the thing that we have to,
Correct.
that's the normal procedure.
It is.
That's the way we do, so.
Background check covers criminal, sometimes credit, and employment history. Those things would not necessarily come up unless there has been misconduct in reference to her job. And so that did not come up. So whatever her situation is not something that we can speak to or discriminate against her in regards to new employment.
So you're saying there was nothing in her records saying misconduct, discharge due to misconduct?
Correct.
Any more questions or discussion?
Yes.
Trustee Delarose.
Thank you. What was the date that the background checks were completed?
I would have to get it with my department. I don't have the background checks in front of me.
Where I'm going, I heard about the same thing, and where I'm going with it is that the background check was completed, and then the incident occurred, it won't show up in a background check. I mean, I'm thinking certainly we would not hire a pedophile in the school district, or some other outrageous crime. Not to say this is what the person did, but I'm thinking it's very quite possible that what had happened after the background check. So it would not have shown up in the background check.
Based on the information that we were just given, it was 2015, based on the information we were just given.
2015 was the incident.
According to what Board President gave us, yes.
Wow, okay. 7 years later, the lawsuit, okay.
Any more discussion? Yes, Liz.
Was the incident, did it go through court? Was it resolved? Or any?
That's what I was trying to make sure that that incident was resolved as it regards to performance. That was the question. And we can also look at to see how they did that clearance and see. We don't have that information. I just got the information. I got back in town. I saw it in my box. So I'm not for sure what the results are and what's what. Good question. Yes, Ms. Galloway? Did you have a question? Seeing no discussion, the motion to approve resolution 1.4, personnel recommendation will be conducted by a roll call vote. As I call your name, say yes or no to approve this action. Kara McIntosh is absent. Alan Gibbard,
Yes.
Danielle Green is absent. Chris Demarone,
Yes.
Linda Booth,
Yes.
Laura McIntyre is absent. And myself would be a yes. 4 yes, 3 absent. Please continue, Mr. Jones.
I seek a motion and a second to approve Resolution 21.3, approval to attend conferences.
It has been,
So moved.
Support.
it has been promptly moved and seconded. Is there any discussions?
Madam President,
Yes, Pastor Gibbard?
thank you. As we recall last year, if you may recall, there in Grand Rapids, you know, we had a little problem with the parking parks. You remember that? So
Yes.
I'm glad that was added. Thank you for making sure that was part of the resolution.
And board members, I've been advised to know that we don't pay parking. So if you have to pay parking, they can call the office and clear that up. And you turn in your expenses to Ms. Beard. Your mileage and those expenses to Ms. Beard. Is there any more discussion regarding the conference? Seeing no more discussion, the motion to approve resolution 21.3, approval to attend conference will be conducted by a roll call vote. As I call your name, say yes or no. Kara McIntosh is absent. Ellen Gibbard,
Yes.
Danielle Green is absent. Chris Del Morone,
Yes.
Linda Booth,
Yes.
Laura McIntyre is absent, and myself is a yes. 4 yes, 3 absent. Do any board members have any comments before we adjourn? Chris Del Morone?
You know, excuse me, we're well into the construction season, and honestly, quite frankly, I thought we'd be further ahead on our buildings as far as tearing some down and coming to some agreements as to which ones will close. When we keep schools open, we're using money to keep them open because they're not, they're running in the red. Now, and what that does is it takes away from programming in the school, field trips, you know, fixing up a building, whatever, when we keep these schools open and we really don't need them. Now, in regards to, and I could be wrong in this, but I think I'm pretty close. We have a shortage of teachers, okay? We can't get enough to hire into the district. And as we close a building, most likely, there shouldn't be any layoffs of teachers and they could fill other needs. And the example I would give, if you have a class of 10 students and a class of 13 at another school, you can combine that into 23 students. One teacher could take care of them, and the other teacher doesn't get laid off, just fills the need in the district, because what was it? We're short 40-some teachers or so. So there should be no concern, in my opinion, of any teacher getting laid off if we can right-size the district and close these excessive buildings, which would free up teachers to fill in where we need teachers. But, I mean, that's all I'm going to say. It's costing us money, it's depleting our resources to keep a school open that we don't need. And, you know, maybe that's where our teachers are that we need, in the buildings that should be closed. Thank you.
Mr. Jones, you want to respond to that?
So there's two parts to that. The first part is, so today we met at Doyle Ryder as it pertains to renovations, and Potter. Mr. Madure met with the construction manager along with the principal and the architect. They're pricing out the materials for the work, the construction to start on Doyle Ryder. Also in the midst of that, we have pricing going on for, 8 of our parking lots since the board approved in June. Pricing is going up now, and RFP will be going up after we get the picture of the pricing for that. That's going to lead us into coming to you in September. So the things have to wait until we have another meeting, just like we've had to do with several of our projects, is have a meeting, come back to you all with the information. And also, they went over to Potter to look at the auditorium to start pricing out the materials. So we hope to at least get the parking lots for 4 of our major school issues, like Holmes is a major, Freeman is a major, Nethercutt has potholes all over the place. We were going to just fill them in just to get us moving, but after we spend the fill-in money, we might as well go ahead and get the parking lots taken care of. So this is going to be the rest of the fall we have, summer, fall, trying to get those parking lots completed, and then going into the spring of next year. As you stated, yes, renovations, you know, as it pertains to outside renovations, it's going to be hard to do that in the winter. but the renovations going on the inside of the building is actually starting up and is about to happen now. It does take some time for legal to go through. It takes some time for state approvals to go through, and that's what we've been dealing with. Also waiting to get the construction manager, and now that we have that, they're moving on that work. Now, as we stated, and we had talked to Dr. Rice about the proper time to start the conversation of closing schools. And this is that time. As I stated last month, August should be the time we get together and begin to have some workshop and talk about the buildings that we need to close, and then start making plans throughout this year to get it done by the end of the year. I do understand where you are, Mr. Delaroni, because we have budgeted for the buildings that we have. The budget we have, the budget we presented to the board, has budgeted for us to get through this school year, correct? All right. And so we have budgeted for that, but we do know we need to make some moves this year. So we're trying to schedule some meetings, and we talked about it going into the finance meeting, trying to schedule some meetings to ensure that we're making the right decisions on what buildings to close. And so those conversations should begin in August of this month, trying to schedule that committee of the whole so that we start talking about the buildings we want to see closed and the renovations we want to see at Northwestern. We got Stantec going to Northwestern, meeting us there. There's a lot going on with that. It's going to take some time, and hopefully, if we don't rebuild Northwestern, we can renovate it to be a space that we can possibly open next school year if we can get going as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I have received some pieces of mail from the secretary, I'm sorry, from the secretary, Ms. Beard, and I just need to know where I should forward this information to. It's mainly about taxes, property taxes, and it's regarding certain properties. So I would like to know where do I forward this information to? Do I give it back to you? It was addressed to me.
There's legal, there's Trump will handle that.
Okay.
She make sure that gets to Trump.
Okay, make sure it's get to Trump.
Probably some of the vacant property.
Yeah.
And we do ask the public to send all their correspondence to Trump. How many did you get? Did they send them directly to you?
Yes, it was addressed in my name. The envelope was addressed
This
in my
one, she's
name.
the secretary of the board. Yeah, she's the secretary of the board, and then all the protocols.
Like Michigan Tribunal.
Yeah, I'll try to take care of it.
Okay. That's kind of sticky. Yes, it says Ms. Linda Booth. It's addressed to me. Yeah, this is pretty much the same. Okay, thank you.
I do have a couple of questions or comments as it relates to trustee Delaroni comments. One of the things I like about Clark Construction Management Team, when they was here, they did agree to working what we call our community partnership agreement, and I believe that May Institute has spoken with you. I would like for Mr. Clark and Mr. May to get together, and so maybe he can see what he can help do to start some of this inside renovation, but that's a conversation that would have to, part agreement, that May and the construction company would have to work. It would not deal with the contract itself that we have, because that contract we have with community partnership agreement is more with programs. But with May's situation, that is something that him and the construction company would have to sit down and work out. that, yeah, and they have to work that part out. But I do just want the community to know that we are honoring that relationship, if you want to speak on that.
Yes, ma'am. And I agree with the board's vote on that, getting some of our grassroots community partners involved in the work we're doing in Flint Community Schools. And so what we'll do, Board President, is we'll speak to Clark Construction about how that can happen legally and make sure that we're following the guidelines of the ESSER funds. And so I do believe that that was a good move for our board to move on community partnerships. And we know that you're out there, community partners, we know you're out there. We know you want to work with Flint scholars and you want to work with Flint Community Schools. We just want to make sure that we are following the rules of our ESSER funds to get you all involved in the upcoming of Flint's future. So we will be in contact with Clark Construction to see how we can support that, Board President.
Sounds good.
All right.
Another question that came up, our after-school program. Did you get their funding for after-school program? Do they get funding through the state or do they come through someone else, use Quest?
I think they get funding from more than one place, but I do know that they are funded through the foundation, my foundation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that is the only means of income. I'm not sure, but I will check on that and get back with you.
The reason I ask is because we know that we have some community partners that have came before the board with ASL, which is the sign language. Speaking with some of the teachers in Union Rep, they thought that was a great idea for an after-school program. So that's something that we're going to look into as a board and making sure that that part of it work as well. And I would like to sit down with whoever's working with that, so you guys can work with the board so we can have a clear understanding how that process will work, and use Quest sharing that space with our community partners. Yes. And Mr. Jones, could you, we had put it out there about Sylvester Room Center, and so, yeah, because the parents want to know exactly what's going on.
Sure. Thank you, Board President. So let me respond to the first. So we do have a community relations meeting that's going to be coming up Monday. We're going to need to put that information out. And this would be a great topic for that community relations meeting, is to talk about the community partnership agreement and those that are in our community that can offer some after-school activities that is not offered by Youth Quest. Mr. Del Moroni, I'll send you an agenda, and if there's any items that you would like to add to that, definitely let us know, and then Ms. Beard will get us all set for that meeting.
We'll just have to work on the timing, because there is another committee meeting later in the evening.
Sure. So we will work on that. I'll get with Ms. Pam, Board President, and we'll figure out how to work that meeting. But I think that is a great space to deal with the community partnerships that we have. Secondly, there was an ask from the leader of Doyle Ryder to see if there's some space out there because they are crunching in over in Powder, and we anticipate that they will be getting more scholars. And so they wanted us as a district to support and try to see if there's other spaces that they can go to. Well, we did that, and that's when we went to the Sylvester Room Center to see their space, and they had agreed that we could put a rental agreement together. During the time that myself and Board President met in our one-on-one, the team had met, and it was a majority at first that wanted to make that move. And then as the principal began to talk to other staff members and some of the other teachers, throughout the week. They thought about the move, they thought about the fountains, they thought about the classroom spaces, and felt that it was better for them to just stay at Potter and not move the scholars. And so that's why we took it off the table tonight to ask for that rental agreement, because the staff had decided, the principal and the staff had decided it was better for them to just stay at Potter. And so that's what the murmuring you hear in the public about the Broom Center. It was because it was a thought. They were open to us. The Broom Center was open to us, but it was a thought. But we decided to pull back on that because we wanted to do what the staff and the leader of the building wanted to do in that space. So we're going to keep them in Potter, put a little pressure on Stantec, try to get door writer done as soon as we can, and put them back in their school. Thank you, Board President.
From me to Chairperson Chris Delmaroni for Community Relations, is it possible that we can, because we're so cramped for time and space, we're doing so much, it doesn't have to be a Monday if you want to make it a Monday. Is that something you're in your department can do and work on if you want to? And that would kind of spread us out a little bit and keep us from being pack to pack with 2 subcommittee meetings on the same day. If that's okay.
I'll get with the committee members and
Okay.
see what works for them.
And then you can let Ms. Pam know.
Sure.
Any more comments?
Yes, Madam President, before we move on from the remarks by board members, would it be possible to extend public comment? We had 2 public.
Yes, that's what I was
Okay,
thinking.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Since we have no more board comments as relates to board business or updates or anything, I do want to say that board members, for the first time in a couple of years, we get the opportunity on August 9th to participate in the superintendent evaluation. Dr. Rod Green from MASB will lead, will be the leader in this process. And we are beginning to start on Mr. Jones's, this is our duty and fairness to him to begin our superintendent evaluation. That's August the 9th. Am I correct that date? 8th or 9th? It's the 9th. And I believe we have, I don't have anything in front of me. You should have our invite to that. And we need, it's going to be closed doors, so we need at least 5 of our board members. And this will be the first time that we as a board come together collectively and do the right thing as it relates to our superintendent evaluation. 6 o'clock p.m. At this location. We'll be closed door. We'll open up with our regular meeting, but it will be closed door and everybody would have to leave out. And this will be our closed door session. And then we do have our next board meeting, which will be August the 10th at 6:30 p.m. 6:30 p.m. So we got a full schedule. We got the 9th, then we got the 10th.
Madam President.
Yes, Trustee Green.
We have superintendent evaluation on the 9th. I'm sure you all, you didn't know it, and Sister, and Ms. Pam didn't know it, but, you know, myself and Sister Booz and Vice President McIntosh, we have our monthly meeting, the Ethics Board, on that same day, at that same time. Well, actually, an hour earlier, we start at 5:30, on the 9th of August.
On the 9th of August?
Yes, and I apologize, I meant to send an email to Ms. Pam, and I forgot, but
Unfortunately, MASB is crunched for time. They changed the time for us several times. August the 9th, we are requesting, you know, that you know, maybe you can make some type of assessment at your board meeting, but we have to have this done. And he has locked us in, he done waited patiently on us. And we have given up a lot of stuff for, you know, other board members to attend board member meetings. But as of August 9th, it's our duty, and we should get this done.
Madam President, I'll be here though.
Okay.
I'll be here.
I appreciate that, but we have to get this done. We tried. So, at this time, we have two, I think these are candidates out there, I can't see, but we would like for you to come forward and do public speaking, introduce yourself at this time.
Good evening. Claudia Perkins. I am a candidate for the 6-year term for the board. I am a veteran of Flint, lifelong veteran. I have been in this community, raised my children here. They are all graduates from Flint Public Schools, as I am. And I want to work in unity to help this board be as strong as it can to help turn the community around in several areas. And so, oftentimes you need to be the change you want to see. So I have already gone to the MEA and interviewed, and I plan on doing everything that I can to strive for perfection for this community, especially listening to the residents and working with the board. You have any questions for me? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lakeisha Churro. I am running for a 6-year term as well. I'm a lifelong resident here in the city of Flint. Born and raised, went to school here. My children were also in the Flint community schools. And I'm running because I believe I bring a community piece. That was going to be one of my questions as far as what are you all doing to be more transparent with the community and more open to working with the community. But I guess I'll be at the meeting to hear more about that. But I believe I bring the community piece to it because I've been an advocate. I've been working diligently in the community for over 10 years, out here with mental health, out here with the homeless population. I'm also on the board of Catholic Charities as well as other community leagues such as Democracy Defense. But I'm running because I believe I have an asset to bring to the table as far as the community resource piece. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, okay, sounds good. We appreciate your comments. We will be having 2 subcommittee meetings that you're more than welcome to stay and see how that operates. Because if we ever win, you will be on these subcommittees and you can meet us and you can see what we are doing and working on. I now turn the floor over to Mr. Jones. You have another announcement.
Board members, the opening for Flint Schools is going to be at the Whiting Auditorium. It was slated for August 3rd, but due to some scheduling conflicts, we're going to have to move it to August 4th. 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Our illustrious board president will be speaking.
Wow, okay.
And also our awesome union leaders will be speaking as well. And we will be giving the address to Flint Community Schools. All of our staff members will be present at the Whiting. It would be great if all of our board members can make it. We would like to have you stand and be acknowledged as our board members. Many of our staff sometimes don't get the chance to see you and to speak to you. And so this is an opportunity to be able to do that. The media comes out to cover this. It's a positive coverage. We give the theme for the year, and we're also going to have a student present speaking for the first time in a long time We're going to have a student present speaking before we give our address about what they would like to see in the school year. So this is going to be August 4th at 1 p.m. at the Whiting Auditorium. All of you are definitely invited and welcome to attend. And also our candidates are also welcome to attend if they would like to.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mrs. Laura, I'm sorry, Trustee McIntyre.
So I just wanted to say apologies to all of my board members. I had something urgent at work come up, and this is the soonest I could get here. So thank you very much. I wouldn't have done it if it hadn't been very, very urgent. Thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing no further business of the board, I declare the special meeting adjourned at 4:45 or 4:46. 4:45. Everyone have a good night and go into the subcommittee. I'm sorry, that didn't start at 5, so we do have some time here.
About 15 minutes.
About 15 minutes.
Yes.
Which one you doing first? Academic or financial? Academics first. Make sure you guys sign in. And there are some people have to sign in the traveling sheet for the different conference. Oh, yeah. Traverse City. How far is Traverse City from here? About 6 hours.
2 hours and 45 minutes.
2 hours and 45 minutes?
5 miles over the city.
And what should we Muskegon about, what, an hour or so? Muskegon.
Muskegon is, I don't know the time.
It's good. Just go on to
Any board member want to talk to candidates, you can feel free. We got through time and to go out and introduce yourself and. Well, with your subcommittee, you got 3 and 3, long as 3 and 3 is fine. And then I can just, yeah, you can't participate. What's your color? Red, blue, and white? Blue and white? Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, good. I might have to slide out the way too. Mm-hmm.